All right, everybody. So I did the how to break your cast on spells videos. I've just been experimenting around with how to break them in new and unique and exciting ways. And so cast on crit, I'm going to do the full overview. I had two separate videos and it's not super helpful. So we'll just do the overview of what's happening, the mechanic that breaks your cast on spells. And we're going to use fire spell and hit as our example just because it's the cheapest way to make an example of this problem. And so the things to consider, we're going to consider a skill adjustment on our skill menu at the same time that a spirit adjustment occurs. And so essentially simultaneous with potentially a socketed attribute mod, like a socketed attribute providing rune in that I think is running a calculation against support because things like intelligence sometimes can impact support gems. I don't have any of those socketed in. At some point I'll do this test with absolutely nothing and like no passives to see if it works, but for right now I think this is it. So how do we break our cast on spells? And so the number one driver is going to be scepters. They have a spirit and they modify skills because they carry an aura, right? So they're going to add a skill to this menu at the same time that we rectify other auras that deactivate when we hit a deficit. So what does that mean, right? I remove this and I go into a deficit here. And so spirit 30 of 100, if I scroll down, my blasphemy is offline. And so what we're seeing is the costs of overwhelming presence here. And so with the cost of overwhelming presence, blasphemy can't run when we unequip our scepter. And so from there, what we need to see is skill movement on our mace versus our scepter versus etc. And that's going to break this spell. And so when we put this back, it shouldn't break. Discipline comes back online. This comes back online and we're safe, right? We're no longer in our spirit deficit, but we're going to intentionally create these deficits to break all cast on spells and kind of go from there. To safeguard yourself from this, you're going to deactivate all of your spells before you make any equipment modifications on your character moving forward, especially if you're running scepters, especially with scepters, right? Because they're the big driver on this. And so to break your spell. We did a video on this, but I will show you what I was saying. We remove our mace, we find a mace on the ground, we want to test our skills. We're looking at it, we're saying, okay, what's the DPS? Whatever we're doing. Our scepter migrates over and our skill 4 mace has been modified alongside discipline staying active, and now we're still maintaining our current spirit total, so we're fine. The moment I select this back, we're in our spirit deficit and we lost a skill. We're about to re-add the skill and we're about to fix the deficit at the same exact moment, which is one of the triggers that breaks cast on spells. So when we reapply this, we see, okay, hey Matt, like it didn't break. Okay, so what are you talking about, right? And I can do this a bunch of times, and no matter how many times I run this, it does not break. Our cast on spell stays safe. I can put this down, I can bring it back up, and it won't break. Okay, so this guy doesn't know how to break the spells apparently. But the moment I do a slight modification, which is adding an all-equipment rune, specifically ones that add attribute modifiers to our scepter, we're now going to break our skill. So we remove, it migrates hands, the skill menu gets modified, we move this back, and we click, and our spell broke. Now, for people who are unfamiliar with this cast on break, a lot of people say, hey, it's a spirit total issue. This doesn't have a spirit cost. People just say, hey, you just deactivated these menus. These menus are both active, and it won't come back online. And then when we move this fire spell on hit, we can check this menu as well, and it doesn't come back online. And so, what's wrong with our spell, right? Like, it should work. But it's broken for good. Notice that always toggle like that. But it's active on the second weapon set. So it's not broken here, but it is broken on weapon set 1, which was the weapon set that was active at the time of the modifications, where the skill menu saw changes. And so, what we want to see here is how do we break this other ways? And so I have, because some people are like, hey, this happens to me all the time, I don't run a scepter. Okay, let's break it a different way. And so let's make our scepter safe again. We're going to put a regular rune in it, and so it will no longer break this spell. And now we're going to fix our ascendancy. Hang on, I have a fussy baby. Okay, I hear you. She's very interested in this commentary. You okay? Okay. So what we need to do to fix these is you're going to cut a brand new skill gem, and you have to make sure this disappears. So if you do a new skill gem, make sure you get rid of the existing. It could technically hold. What I found is it's usually the errors in this like tab, and so for a smith, you're going to refund your passive,
set in stone,
and you're going to lose a ton of money, like me. And you need this to disappear. It disappeared, we can add it back, and now it'll fix itself once we add the socketed skill. And we're good to go. Okay, so we're back online in both weapon sets. And again, we just did that test. We put a regular rune back in, and so now this can't break. We'll go back up, and it won't break no matter how many times we do this. I've sat here for, 100 times, whatever it is. We're entering the spirit deficit, we're moving things around, but we don't have one of those runes socketed. So now let's mess with our equipment. We're going to add a greater, let's do the same for strength for the sake of our thing. We're going to add a strength rune here. We're going to make the modification to see if it happens when we do any piece of armor. It usually happens within 1 or 2 rotations. It did not happen because the armor requirement doesn't shift off. Let's say this, requirements to this gear piece turned off for a second. That would present a problem. And so what I'll show us next is we have something that meets the criteria that I'm describing, which is a crossbow that provides a new skill in addition to its auto attack skill, right? So you have Gemini Surge, which will add in addition to the extra skill, and we have socketed into it. Martial weapon leeches however much life. We're going to use this to unequip this setup. And so in theory, let's say we remove something that meets these requirements, like a belt, 30 dexterity. I have 0 dexterity on this build. I remove it. We're still safe, but this unequipped. Now let's put it back, and we're still safe. Okay, so we're good to go there, right? Okay, now let's try that same movement, and we'll put this strength mod into this skill, right? Maybe these attribute requirements on the bow that adds the skill, much like our aura, is going to impact this. It did not break it the prior time, but will it break it this time? And so we'll have it select. We have it move, and now we remove an item that meets its requirements, and it broke our spell. And so the moment we put an all equipment mod in any item that was in the weapon set, that did 2 things. It added an auto attack and its own specialized weapon skill. It broke the system, right? And so you've never touched a scepter in your life, but here you are experiencing that same issue. This scepter on the back is technically safe, right? It can't break our skill set. However, this weapon had this requirement met, and the only reason it toggled off was due to this belt. We'll do the same thing on this shield if I can get my strength high enough. Or let's do this. We'll socket these bad boys in here. We're still not at a high enough level, so let's refund you because we broke you. Let's put our strength up. Where's our strength need to be? 2 more. Don't know if I can run the auras at the same time, but hopefully. Okay, so with the all equipment mods in and us meeting the requirements for this shield, in our offhand, we're going to try to re-break this mod as part of our final test here. The shield is not socketed, but this is socketed. And why am I not meeting the requirements anymore? What did I just change? Let me look at that in a second. Okay, let's get back on track. We're going to reapply our passive, but we need 10 more strength. But I think I can solve that through here. 12 strength, and let's put strength mod. Is this a good one? No, fire resistance. Oh, well, I'm a smith. I guess that is important. Okay, so all equipment mods on our gear is letting us use this item. And so when we unequip our belt, it will fall below the threshold, and we have socketed all equipment mods, but not in the shield. Will that break it, is my question. So we can put this back up, I guess. Yeah. And so, inventory, passives, we're up. G, we haven't socketed our skill in. Okay, and so here we are, and we have a safe scepter, we have a safe shield, we have an unsafe chest piece. The shield will unequip, but I wonder if we have to get the chest piece to unequip. We'll see. And so to break this, in theory, we put this on, we remove, we select, and we did not break it. However, we didn't make a modification to our spirit totals, so now we have our spirit. Now we're going to replace that spirit, put ourselves in a deficit. We're in our deficit, and then we're going to remove our strength requirements while all equipment mods are up. Then we're going to resume them back, and it didn't break. Okay, so we all saw that. It didn't break. Now, we add in strength. Ugh, such an ugly mod on that. Okay, so we have our spirit carrying over. We socket our shield. We're in our deficit. We hit an equipment snag, and it broke. So these all equipment mods, doesn't matter the item, if it's on your item set, it seems to break it. I guess the question second to this that we should test for is it just all equipment mods or is it any season 1 mod, right? Because scepters can only take from season 1 the all equipment, and season 2 you get these special mods, but we'll have to see. So we broke it again. We're using these all equipment mods on any item specifically that adds these multi-skills, and let's just show an item that doesn't have multiple skills with an all equipment mod socketed in. I think I just picked up a scepter for this specific reason, because that'd be our final piece where we use a scepter that doesn't have it. Didn't I grab a scepter for this? Oh, did I put it in my smalls? I feel like I put it in a random spot. Pardon my disorganization. I did. So here's a fresh scepter, and we can refund our mods.
Nothing is set in stone.
Clear. And now, what are we going to do? We're going to use this as our example. Okay. Anyways, well, that's the video, y'all. Oh, wait, no, wait, maybe? All right. That's it. See y'all.